As a Patriots fan, I don't think I've ever been more excited for an NFL draft than this year's draft. Because unless you've been living under a rock, the Patriots have had Tom Brady for the past 20-something years. So I've never had to worry about the quarterback and whatnot. And coming into last offseason, there are many big quarterbacks that came into free agency. So I thought the Patriots were just going to pick up a quarterback. We all know how that went. But this season, they really were in need of a QB after Cam Newton's lackluster performance last season. And I was really excited and hyped to see who they picked because for once, our team really had a big need in the biggest position out of probably almost any sport. And guess what? They ended up drafting a quarterback. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the Patriots draft picks and how good I feel like they were personally. What's up, everybody? It's AC Analysis. I really haven't said that in such a long time. And today I'm going to be talking about the Patriots draft picks and how well I think they did in filling their needs. So as you guys may know, the NFL draft did just pass by, and as I said in the intro, I was really excited for this year's draft, since I'm a Patriots fan, and for once they actually had really big needs in positions, and they could finally kind of evolve as a team past that Tom Brady era. Of course, last season was just a massive fluke for the Patriots, but this draft I knew would have to be a massive draft if the Patriots wanted to continue being contenders and keep their reputation as one of the best, most consistent teams in the NFL. So, I will be making a video about all the draft picks today, but if you guys could take 1 second before the video starts to like and subscribe to my channel, that would be really helpful and it helps me make more videos like these. And if you guys want a shout out, make sure to comment down below. And now let's go talk about their first round draft picks. And as you guys may know, they decided to draft a quarterback in the first round. Last season, for the first time in I don't know how many years, the Patriots did not finish first in the AFC East, actually getting third with a 7-9 record, and not even making the playoffs for, again, the first time in I don't know how many years. And as a Patriots fan, that was so weird, not seeing the Patriots going past into the playoffs. And maybe this is just me being selfish, or and I know many other teams have gone through this and many other fans have gone through this, but it just was not fun to watch my team lose pathetically over and over again. And then the games that they won were against easy teams, and I don't believe that they should have won those games. But there was one major glaring problem on the Patriots. Sure, there were other problems, and many big players like Patrick Chung and Dante Hightower opted out that season, but the main problem was the quarterback situation. We had rotated between Cam Newton, Jarrett Stidham, and even Brian Hoyer last season. And when Brian Hoyer goes in, you know there's a problem. But Cam Newton managed to throw for 2,700 yards, 8 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And most of his good stats were actually in the beginning of the season, and then he came down with COVID-19, and then after that he just completely failed for the rest of the year. And as a Patriots fan, his stats might not look that bad, but watching him was just absolute pain. It was so difficult to watch Cam Newton miss a bunch of easy throws, not get his wide receivers open. It was just tough to watch Cam Newton. So I was hoping this season that maybe we could drop Cam Newton, pick up another quarterback. I was maybe hoping for Aaron Rodgers, and then draft a quarterback in the NFL draft and maybe help get that quarterback to become our future quarterback. And part of that did happen. We did decide to keep Cam Newton on a 1-year, $6.5 million contract, but in the draft with the 15th overall pick, we decided to pick up Mac Jones. Mac Jones was a quarterback from Alabama who went to high school in Jacksonville. And in Alabama, he didn't have much of a role as a quarterback until his final season, where he popped off with 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. And obviously with this stats, people would really want to draft him. And many people said that he should not be that high of a draft pick because he was carried by some players on his team. And I guess fairly so. He did have some pretty good talent around him, including Devontae Smith from Alabama, who had so many receiving yards that season with 1,800 receiving yards and 23 touchdowns. But when watching some of this guy's highlights, he is a great pocket passer quarterback. And Patriots, history-wise, have had some really good history with quarterbacks out of Alabama. So they would obviously want to pick up this guy, and he is their type of quarterback. He's a Tom Brady-esque type of quarterback who would like to stay in the pocket. He's able to move out of the pocket, in the pocket, and he can also just bomb the ball downfield accurately. So one problem that I had with him getting drafted was that he would get mentored by Cam Newton, who, as you guys probably all know from previous years, is a quarterback that likes to run the ball, run out of the pocket, and make plays with his legs. And Mac Jones is not that type of quarterback. He looks like he's a dad of 3 living on a farm. But I'm very excited to get a new quarterback, and I hope that he will be able to do very well in the future. But Mac Jones isn't just a pure pocket passer. He's able to stay very composed in the pocket, very strong in the pocket, and throw the ball deep. But like I said, he's like a Tom Brady type to the point where he's able to get the ball and roll out of the pocket a small bit and throw the ball downfield. He has pocket awareness, which I love in quarterbacks. And I'm a little not the happiest that we got a crazy pocket passer type quarterback, because currently the generation of quarterbacks is evolving where most of the quarterbacks we're seeing now, or at least most of the really good ones, are athletic stars that are able to move out of the pocket, run the ball if they need to, like Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, who are two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. But getting a solid quarterback like Mac Jones, not the end of the world. We can still make work with this. However, many people were disappointed when Mac Jones was drafted because people wanted that athletic quarterback, and people were expecting Justin Fields, who was someone who can get out of the pocket, and he was that athletic mobile quarterback that I was just previously talking about. But Fields was originally supposed to be neck and neck with Trevor Lawrence for the #1 quarterback in the draft. Trevor Lawrence eventually won, and then Fields' draft stock dropped a lot with multiple things. Some concerns from scouts, and also because Ohio State has not statistically generated good quarterbacks, because they just have not been able to get good quarterbacks out, and that just put a bad reputation on them. So Fields might have actually gone to the Patriots, but Patriots not make too much of a move for him, and the Bears ended up moving up from the 20th overall pick to the 11th overall pick, paid a hefty price, and picked up Justin Fields before the Patriots could. And it does not seem like the Pats wanted to pay that price, so they ended up letting them have it, and they picked up Mac Jones for themselves. I don't know if Justin Fields would have been the best choice, since there are many questions around him, and he seems like he could be a bust, but as I've said many times, only time will tell. Coming into this offseason, I was actually kind of worried about Patriots drafting a quarterback, though, because they had no talent around them, and their quarterback would just be put into an awful situation, kind of like Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where they would have no one to throw to. But the Patriots, for actually the first time, made moves in the offseason, and props to Bill Belichick for that, because I was so excited in that 1 week where the Patriots picked up so many players. They got Aguilar, they got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, both top 10, 15 tight ends in the NFL. And people sometimes think that the Patriots' offensive line isn't that good, but when you look at it and when you look how they did last season, they had some injury problems and some opt-outs, but they have a pretty solid offensive line. So this guy Mac Jones is actually coming into a great situation that almost any quarterback would want to go to, because he has a solid up-and-coming running back, Damian Harris, and then they also got wide receivers. They got the deep shot Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne in the slot, Jacoby Myers, who's always a trustable player. And then for any new quarterback, they would always want 2 great tight ends around them. That's the quarterback's dream. So he is put into a very safe situation, and it's to the point where the only concerning part about the Patriots is part of their defense. And now that players are coming back from opt-outs, it's even stronger than it was last season, even though it was still pretty lackluster. So all I'm saying from this is, basically what you can get from it is that Mac Jones is being put into a great situation to succeed. So, of course, we don't know what's going to happen, we just got to wait till the season, but I think drafting a pocket passer quarterback was a great idea, because we have some great weapons that he can throw to, and some good blockers. If you look at the Patriots depth chart right now, the only major problem that you can see is maybe their defensive line. And they clearly saw that problem too, since they decided to move up 8 spots in the draft to draft Christian Barmore, a DT out of, guess what, Alabama. They got 2 players from Alabama, teammates actually. And the Patriots had to move up 8 spots since they clearly saw that this player might have been taken by one of the teams that also needed a defensive line. And they picked up this player who would be able to fill up the void for Adam Butler leaving in free agency. The Patriots have tried their best to keep their line strong this year by re-signing players like Lawrence Guy, and then we got a solid edge rusher who looks like an edge rusher, and I'm excited about us picking up a defensive lineman in the 2nd round. Do I know much about this player? So can I say that much? Not really. I don't know much about Christian Barmore. All I know is that he was a consistent player, and he was almost a 1st-round draft pick. Therefore, I'm excited since, yet again, we are able to draft someone in the draft. Let's just hope that they don't turn out like N'Keal Harry. Now, here's the part that I'm excited about. The Patriots have Matthew Judon, and then after Matthew Judon, they also picked up Kyle Van Noy again in this offseason. And now they just drafted another defensive lineman. This team is going to be scary. They're going to be a scary pass rushing team. With the 96th overall pick, they picked up Ronnie Perkins, and he wasn't expected to fall this far in the draft. He's a defensive end standout out of Oklahoma. But in 2020, he did fail a drug test, causing him to only play 6 games, which obviously lowered how much he was going to play that season. And for a player who failed a drug test, I'm surprised he was signed by the Patriots, since they're usually really strict about stuff like this. You saw what they did with Antonio Brown previously. but this man is a really strong defensive end who is going to push past you and get to the ball. Like the previous one, I don't know too much about this guy, but I think he will be playing a backup role behind maybe Matthew Judon, who's, although he's a linebacker, he will be playing on that end spot. But I'm really excited to see how this team is evolving into a younger and stronger team, and I can't wait for next season. Now, after all that's been said, that'll wrap up this video. This has been AC Analysis talking about the Patriots draft and how well I think they did. I am so excited for next season, and I'm excited to get back into making videos. And thank you to all you guys who reached out to me asking where I was and how I am doing. I'm doing just fine, just working on my videos right now. And now, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to shout out, comment down below, and see you next time.